On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve. This is the Law Enforcement Oath of Honor. The Department of Homeland Security reports that every day over 780,000 United States police officers put on their badges and head out into the unknown. They don't know what dangers they will face, who they will help, or what extreme conditions may come their way. But lately, a lot of negativity has been associated with law enforcement. The 2014 cases of Eric Garner in New York City and Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri have captured the nation's attention. But through the negativity, the members of our nation's law enforcement continue to protect and serve.
Define a hero, what does it mean to you?
I'm here at the Lakeland Police Department, and we're heading behind the scenes to see what they do for the city of Lakeland on a daily basis.
A lot of my job entails dealing with homeless people because Munn Park is part of my area. They hang out every day in Munn Park. So if my business owners have a problem with a specific transient, I address that issue and try and resolve it. That's a typical day for me. Very, very seldom do we have any major crime that happens downtown, but it does. I mean, over the years, I've been the downtown officer, one of the downtown officers for probably about 9 or 10 years now, and we've had some other crimes go on.
A typical day is I come in at 5:30 in the morning, and I do our lineup, just make sure we have enough personnel on the streets, and I do assignments to where certain police officers are in certain parts of the city. So I make sure that we have enough police officers in the city. I do all their time sheets, making sure they get paid, which is important. I coordinate time off, and I would supervise any major events if they were to take place within the city throughout the day. I work about 5:30 in the morning to 5:30 at night, and I'll supervise any major incidents that would take place during the day and oversee them.
A typical day for me in this position is the commanding officer of the patrol division. That's all the uniformed patrol officers. Is making sure we have enough manpower out on the streets to cover the different quadrants of the city. We look at different neighborhoods and the different concerns coming out of those neighborhoods, and we try to adjust our resources to match the emerging crime trends.
Everyone has a story to tell, and the police are no exception.
It's been probably about 4 or 5 years now since I've helped that gentleman out, and about 6 months ago he tracked me down downtown. He had a car. He said, since the day that I helped him out, he says, I'll never forget that you took me to Payless and bought me that pair of boots because I didn't have enough money. And he says, I'll never forget that. He said, you helped me out so much.
The other day when I was working a traffic detail, there was a young lady that her car broke down in the middle of the intersection, and I got out and helped her push the car out of the road and got her somebody to come and help her to get her home safely.
You know, I've been a police officer 28 years. What I like to explain to people is that you can make a difference. Probably the most rewarding position that I had with this department is when I was a DARE officer, and I worked with the kids in the schools, and that was back in 1994. I still have those students that are young adults now that bump into me, whether it's at a church or a mall or a public event, that come up and say, hey, thank you, Officer Groves, you were my DARE officer. I remember those lessons, and that's moving. That's very impactful. When we can touch the life of a young person, to me, that made a difference.
Sure, we try to make a positive story every day that we come to work. We try to help somebody every day. I can think of countless times when we've done something that made somebody's life a little better, whether it be catching a bad guy that's just committed a crime, or it may be something as simple as helping an elderly lady put her porch light back in to make sure she's got light at night to make her feel safe.
Trying to deal with notifications. I worked traffic homicide for 8 years, having to go notify family members that someone else in their family was killed in a car crash and not coming home. We do death investigations where I'm at now on patrol. So you're going out to scenes that something traumatic has happened. So on top of trying to deal with the scene and what's going on, you're also trying to deal with family members, friends, things like that that may be at a crisis in their life.
January 9th was the first ever Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. The group Concerns of Police Survivors and other partnering organizations were concerned about the negativity directed toward law enforcement. They started this day so Americans can unite to show their support of law enforcement officers nationwide.
In the world that we live in today, I feel like if we didn't have men and women who were willing to put their lives on the line every day for us, we would have chaos. And I want my kids to grow up safe. So I just want to thank them.
The Lakeland Police Department held a rally at their headquarters for Appreciation Day. They encouraged everyone who attended to wear blue, bring signs, posters, balloons, and American flags to show their support.
I think it's amazing. I think it's great that we have the citizens showing support. They care about us, and I really appreciate everyone showing up, so I like it a lot.
So what would the local law enforcement say to the public who may have a negative view about the police?
Well, lately it's been in a negative spotlight because of some national incidents, but what we've done to combat that is be as transparent as we possibly can, giving them the information that they need, also to include working with the media. Just last week we did what we call a Media Relations Day, where the media comes out, it's an open discussion, a roundtable discussion, and we listen to their concerns and they listen to ours. So it helps us bridge that gap where we continue to move forward and brand the Lakeland Police Department in a positive light.
Do a ride along with us and see firsthand on some of the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. They would probably get a different outlook on what we do. You know, the people we have to deal with out there, the things we have to go through, the things we have to see. They might look at law enforcement a little bit differently.
I tell them that each police officer is their own person, and sometimes we have police officers that make bad decisions, just as any profession. People make bad decisions sometimes. And don't hold that against us because of a couple bad apples. And when you have another profession, it's not in the light as much as police officers are, and you never really hear about it. But when a police officer makes a bad decision, don't let it ruin your image of all the police officers. Take us on our own individual accounts.
I would say people don't have a true understanding of law enforcement work. A lot of times you hear people, newscasters, people say a routine stop. Nothing's ever routine in law enforcement. You never know who's in that vehicle, what they might be doing, whether they're wanted, whether they just committed a crime, whether they're just going to the grocery store. You never know who you're walking up to or what is in their frame of mind when you're walking up to make contact with them.
There's always, with any story, two sides of each story, and maybe they're only looking at one side of the story, which causes them to have a negative opinion, and maybe we could sway their opinion to a positive if we had the chance to talk to them.
And what I would encourage everyone to do is once a month we have what they call a Chiefs Chat. Come out, it's on a Monday night, and ask any questions that you want. Nothing is off grounds, and we will answer that to give them a better idea about law enforcement. We also have our Citizens Police Academy that goes once a year. They can join that and go through, and they hear from everybody throughout the department about the different job responsibilities and what we do as police officers.
Thank you to all of the law enforcement officers who put their lives at risk on a daily basis to protect our communities and families. We truly appreciate your willingness to protect and serve us all. Samaya Lawrence, TSC News.
Who are the heroes, do you think one could be you? Would you risk your life in all you say and do? Who are the heroes, the strong, the true?